stream. I'm very bad at these, and I don't do them very regularly. So thank you for joining. Let me know if the quality is terrible, or you can't hear me or anything. Usually there's a bit of a lag at the beginning, so that should go away. I haven't figured that out. Looks like there are a few people viewing, so thanks for coming. Yeah, I kind of figured that doing the whole TanStack router React query. No, geez, TanStack Query. That's what it's called. When did it change from React Query to TanStack Query? I guess like Tanner's trying to like label everything under TanStack now. Whatever. Anyway, that's a different conversation. Magnus Red said, "Hello, Brooks. Thank you so much. It is I who asked for this." Yes, there's a couple people asked for it, but I do remember you asking in the stream the other day. Start out with React Query. Server-side render docs are wrong because they run the loader on every loader call, which is totally against the idea of caching. Oh, that's interesting. I know you can't send me anything, but yeah, I'd like to see that. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna start sharing my screen so we can just get into it. Actually, first I gotta put it on Twitter so people actually know I started. Say live now. Red dot. Where's the red dot? There it is. So that's live. We'll see. Some more people might pop in. And then let's do, let me make sure my code's up before I actually show my screen. It's not. Cool. All right. Nope, not that one. Geez, share screen. Transition. There we go. All right, cool. So we got code up. Let me change the display on this thing so y'all can actually see what it is that I'm doing. It's a little bit better. Even bump it again. And then let's actually run it. No, not 3000. Yeah, 5173. Okay, cool. So this is what we're going to be goofing around with. And trying to get React Query to work with Remix or TanStack Query. So yeah, if you look at TanStack Query, they've got 5 versions now. That's cool. And someone said, or Magnus said that server-side rendering example is wrong. I don't know if it's like a remix specific example. Full remix. Oh, they have a remix example in here. This is interesting. Is this a like server rendering and hydration? Okay, gotcha. So then we go to remix. Okay. Interesting. I don't know. This seems weird. I don't think I'm gonna do it this way. I assume this is before we added like our client loader and whatnot, which is what I'm gonna be using. Oh, good. Okay, hold on. YouTube's yelling at me, so let me see if it actually matters. Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. That seems like a YouTube problem. Just kidding. No, it does seem like a problem. I feel like that's not my fault. I think everything's going okay. I don't know. It's probably fine. YouTube will figure it out. People will yell at me if stuff sucks. Or they won't. I don't know. Everything seems fine, but let me know if the quality is terrible or something. Okay, anyway, what are we trying to do? So I've got this I've got this example I've been already working on, and I should probably start actually saving some progress here. So the first thing is, let's actually look at history, initial from create remix. So yeah, this I want to do later. This piece, this piece, this piece. Okay, cool. I think I know what to change. Want contacts. So this is just the contacts app from our tutorial. That's what I'm going to be messing with, just so I don't really have to recreate anything. Oh, what's up, Moshi? It's good to see you. How late is it for you, though? Because I believe you're in Europe. It seems like it's late for you. Hope you're having a good evening. Okay, so yeah, I want to save this, and then I'm gonna kind of undo some things here really quick just because I want to save this in a good state. So I think I have all this saved. So delete this one, this one. We'll get back to all this so I can kind of walk through what I've done so far. Okay, that seems good. So we'll commit this one. We'll commit this. We'll commit this. We'll commit this. I don't think there was anything special in the root. The root, the route, the root, as some people say, or the route, as Middle America would say. Okay, so let me test this really quick and just make sure this is in a good state. 10 p.m. Okay, I was off by an hour. Fair enough. Okay, so this is, if you've never gone through this, which I imagine most people are familiar with this is the remix like tutorial. So you've got, okay, cool. So search does work. Hey, there I am. This is like all the speakers from Remix 2023. It's a little contact thing, and then you can edit things and say, you know, we can change Kent's name to something like Lint C Dodds. And we could even delete him, but I don't want to delete him. Actually, I think if I delete him and then I just restart the server, he'll be back. So I think that'll be okay. Goodbye, Kent. Goodbye, Lint. I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, okay, cool. He's back. So you can't ever get rid of Kent. So basically, yeah, it's just like a little fake database, which is fine. We don't really need real data for the purposes of what we're doing right now. So I'm going to commit all this and say set up the tutorial code. So that's all that. And now I want to actually set up, yeah, I'll kind of walk through what I've done so far offline or off the stream, whatever. I pulled in this little package. We'll talk about it in a sec. TanStack router or TanStack React query. I keep calling it TanStack router, I think, because I think about TanStack router more than I think about the query, but whatever. So that's good. And then package lock, obviously. So we got these set up. And then the next thing that I did was, yeah, we'll look at that query thing. So basically, to actually set up the query, well, let's look at, sorry, let's look at this one first. So basically, the way that I'm kind of thinking about it, the way I think it would be best to use something like React Query um, with Remix is to use our paradigms, our loader paradigm, loader action paradigm, and then just use it as a query cache. You can use React Query like for like all the hooks and everything if you want to. Maybe that still works. I still want to play with that. But anyway, basically like React Query, the last time I used it, it's been a second, but yeah, it's like very much that like fetch in the component kind of life cycle. And you have like all these hooks are kind of aware of like the state of their data, and then you invalidate things with mutations and all this that kind of stuff, which is great. What I want to do though is I would prefer to use Remix's paradigm of like loaders are your get. So anytime you are on a page and you load data, or rather, sorry, when you go to a URL for the first time, it runs your loader, you get all your data, and then when you do a mutation, a post, or like anything but not a get request, it runs the action, and then that automatically revalidates and the loaders run. So I prefer to kind of keep that paradigm and then just use React Query for a client-side cache. So that's the first way I'm going to try it, and then I'll see what more there's to do with it. What about using a fetcher inside of the useQuery query function? Yeah, I mean that's possible, Magnus, and that may be somewhere we go. It just to me again seems like a little bit more. I'll have to think about it. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, we'll try that. You just have to set up like the route itself to do that, and maybe that's worth it for you. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. We'll play with that. But anyway, so I'm just gonna paste what I had saved. Yeah, so basically the first thing is we got this client loader, and it does, some little checks. I'll make this all a little bit better. And then we do our query. So we've got contact query, and this is where Magnus is saying like, try to use a fetcher here. The problem with using a fetcher here though, no, because now that I'm thinking about it, you can't call use fetcher inside of client loader. So, oh, what's up? Pedro's here to crash the party and tell me I'm terrible at code editors. It's gonna be like neovim, all up in here. I'm working on a data heavy dashboard. Data doesn't change much though, so hoping to cache as much as possible. That makes sense, Magnus. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just see how far we can get. Whoops. doing it the remixy way and just using this as a cache. By the way, another thing, especially Magnus, you might be interested in is what is it? Remix client cache. It's like a little, very, very simple. My SEO is beating out GitHub. Unfortunate. Anyway, it's a very simple library that like basically, again, like the kind of sounds like what it is. It's a way to set up like a client cache with a client loader. So you might be interested in that. And I do kind of want to mess with it and see what it would look like to get React Query working with this thing. If that's easy to set up, then that sounds cool. Pedro, you should feel welcome, even though I immediately made fun of you. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know about using fetchers in the query function. Doesn't line up with the purpose of each of those. Yeah, I kind of agree. Anyway, so you don't need this though, right? Like this is not necessary. So I don't know. What could we do here? So yeah, the thing is if you're if you're using React Query to actually query, all these queries have to be accessible from your client. Whatever. All right, I'll play with that. I'm just gonna use it as a cache for now. So basically, yeah, one nice thing is a big thing I like about React Query is yeah, it's got this like nice cache mechanism to where you can like say you can kind of have this concatenated like nested sort of cache, I guess. So you got contact slash details slash ID, and so that's how we'll be doing each of our caches. So we just got this little I guess factory function is what you would call that. Um, contact detail query. So then you'll pass in the contact ID, whoever they are, and then query. And then down here, we're going to do the query client, get query data, serialize from. This is just TypeScript, not TypeScript, sorry. TypeScript shenanigans that we're doing for now. And I don't know, we can figure out better ways to maybe do this later. I'm not that worried about it. So first we try to get the data. The data may or may not exist. If it does not exist, we're going to get the server data, and then we're going to set that into the query cache because next time we call this loader, we want to actually make sure that it is, yeah, we're going to check again. So this function might be, run multiple times every time we go to like Kent's page. We're going to be running this client loader. So if we already have the data, we want to just pull it out instead of fetching for it. But the first time we want to fetch for it. So that's the client side cache. So that's pretty much all it takes to actually do this part of it. Very easy. Yeah, isomorphic fetch. Okay. Server actions, but forget would be the best API. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm following yet, but I'm also just not really thinking about what you're saying. So that's on me. I don't know. I shouldn't get distracted yet with comments. Okay, so something I want to call out because it was, oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name? Dominic, who like works on React Query and is making the React Query or has made the React Query like course and everything. He doesn't like that we don't have like a context. Wait, do we have a context for client loader? Did I just like make this up and we actually do? I could have sworn we don't have a context. Yeah, where is that coming from? Did I give this the wrong things? React router loader function args. Oh man, this is deep. We do have a context. I'm very confused about this. I thought we didn't have a context on client loader. Glad this stream is smooth, Pedro. Okay, anyway, that's weird. I really didn't think we had a context. Anyway, I bring that up because Dominic wants us to be able to like basically set up the context and then pull off like the query client from that context, which is valid. I think that would be better to do this versus like importing it. And I think that's something we're gonna add. But my type hints are telling me we do have it. I don't think that's true. I don't know. Maybe there's a way to set that up. But I really, really don't think I really don't think there is. Oh wait, yeah, it says right there it's undefined. Maybe that's something we're adding for later. I'm not gonna worry about it. Anyway, so in the meantime, until we have like client-side context or whatever, the way that I'm setting this up is, yeah, exactly. Moshi already cut to the chase. It's remember. So basically that's what we're using remember for, which comes from Epic Web Remember. This is like not as needed anymore, actually. This was especially needed before we switched to Vite because we would have like, it was primarily for like if you set up like a Prisma client or something like that, something on the server, you didn't want to recreate that connection multiple times and then like just automatically like by refreshing a couple times, you would have created too many connections, and then you'd like bust your database connections or whatever. So it's basically a way to say like, hey, set this thing up only one time per context, but you can use it on the client as well. You can use it wherever you want. So it's just an easy way to say like whenever someone imports query client, if it's the first time, you're going to set this up. But if it's already happened, you're just going to keep using the same client. So again, I get it. This would be nice if it came from context via like dependency injection. We'll get there, but this isn't a reason not to use React Query. It's just a nicety to add on to. Why is importing bad? So yeah, importing would be bad. Well, that's funny that I guess, I don't know. Importing would be bad if I was doing this as an example. So let's remove everything. If I just did this, every single module that's importing this would be setting up a new client. And that's a problem because the whole point of having the cache is having a single cache, like a single source of truth that knows all this stuff. So if we're recreating a new one every time, that would be a problem. So if you do something like this, it's okay because remember will remember it and it won't be invalidated unless you manually call like this invalidation thing. And so now the cache will be good. I think the fear could maybe be that someone doesn't do this right, but I feel like this is pretty safe. So I'm not that worried about it. And then you would need to pass this in, like if you really are wanting to use like all the loaders and everything that like use, or the use query and everything inside of, gosh, where would you set this up? I guess inside of here, yeah, inside of app around your outlet or whatever, you would want to set up, what is it, like query context or something? Query client context, yeah, and then you'd pass the query. Oh man, I don't know. This is probably not right. It's probably a provider, isn't it? Query provider. Query client provider, and then there'd be a client, and then you pass, yeah, query client in there. So you just want to make sure it's the same thing, but I'm not doing that because I don't want to. Okay, cool. So catching up on not notes, on comments. The factory function, I think you need to be returning a query options from the query options page on the React query docs. Okay. I'll look very quickly, but I'm not totally sure if I need to. So yeah, we can get some query options, and what do these actually do? Yeah. One of the best ways to share query key and query functions between multiple places, yet keep them co-located one another, is with the query options helper. Okay, so this is just like a little helper. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about this. I don't think I need this, at least not right now. I could be wrong. Okay, anyway, so that's a good, nice long tangent about why we're just importing query client. No biggie. All right, so yeah, so this actually already works. So I've got a little console log in here because I'm a terrible developer and that's the only way I can know if anything's working. So I fetched Kinsey Dodds. I'm gonna go to, how do I search? I'm gonna go to Brooks, which is me, in case you didn't know that. And I'm gonna go back to Kinsey, and we're not refetching Kinsey, which is great. Kinsey Dowds. We can also see if we reload and clear everything, and then if we go to like Christopher and then we go to Kent, and then Christopher, like you can see it's not loading anymore, but then I go to Pedro. Oh yeah, Pedro spoke at this conference. Man, all the friends. It reloaded his image, I guess. But yeah, everything else is good. So it's not refetching. Whereas if I remove this entire client loader, just by default, the way that Remix works is every single time I go to a new person, even if I've already visited them, I'm going to be loading that data again. So every time I go back to Christopher, I keep loading his data. So this is why people want like a client cache. So that's why we're doing all this. Okay, cool. So we've got that piece set up, which is great. So we're done. No, I'm just kidding. What we want to do next is we want to actually do some mutations. So yeah, so I'm trying to think about kind of two things. So one, there's like the whole sidebar, which has its own data that it kind of fetches. So I think that's en route. And I might want to set that up first because I think that'll help me validate some of this query decachifying. That's not the word. Invalidation. So let's check it. So yeah, the loader, what does the loader do? It does this get contacts. Contacts is a bunch of contact records. I'll just console that log out to You're fine, Magnus. You don't need to apologize. It is something people keep asking about. And I would just like to have like an example of it so that people can see it's not that hard. But I also want to validate like if the way I'm thinking about it is good or not. So when you get a contact, what do you get? You get their avatar. You get way too much data. Like this is way more data than you need. You just need the name. We might strip this down, but that's fine. We'll just do that for now. Okay, cool. So get contacts pulls out all the contacts, and then get contact specifically pulls out a single contact. Yeah, contact record and contact record. So they're the same thing. But yeah, we could probably narrow this, whatever, so that we're sending less data because that's kind of too much data to send in a realistic app for a sidebar. I don't know, but maybe it's great. So one thing we can do is how would you revalidate this using, yeah, we're gonna get there. So yeah, one thing we can do is we can do we could just do this again, and this would be like kind of the cheat mode, I guess. Maybe not cheat mode, but we could just like load everything ahead of time. So what am I looking for? Query client. So we need to import it, and then we could just set each of them. List. What is that? So yeah, we could go through like each of the contacts, and then we could say for each contact, do that. Yeah, I mean, this thing already knows what I'm trying to do, I think. But it kind of messed up the syntax. Man, Pedro, I might be with you that I just need to not trust this LLM anymore. So for each of them, you get the query, and then you would set the query key. You'd find if that data exists, and then if it doesn't exist, now this is all wrong. Yeah, of course it is. So I just want to do query client dot get, nope, set query data. Oh my gosh, set query data. There we go. With that key, and then the contact. So this would be one way to do it, is just to go ahead and populate all the contacts when we first load them, and then I'm pretty sure we would never actually we'd never actually fetch this data. So, oh yeah, set query data doesn't exist. What did I do wrong? Oh, I'm in the loader. Yikes. Did anyone catch that on stream already? Whoa, it's harsh deep. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for jumping on the stream. Using the query client on the server and the client. No, that was Moishi. That was a mistake. That was me being a dumbass. Don't worry. I don't think you should be doing that. That seems very scary to me. I'm glad I looked like for a second I was going to be smarter than I actually am. Client, no, not client action. Man, I can't get anything I want. Client loader function args. And then we get the server loader. Okay. So yeah, this is all completely incorrect. Yeah, I get it. You're trying to do what I was doing earlier, but you're just wrong is the problem. So data is not going to be this. It's going to be await server loader. Give it some types. And then that'll give us the data. That's like all the contacts. We'll call them contacts just to actually, I don't know, we need to do this. Data. And then we'll do data.contacts. And then for each contact, we'll just go ahead and set it all. So anytime this runs, we're gonna set them all up, and then we'll forward along the data. That's fine. No, it's not fine. We'll remove that. Okay, so if I did this right, why did we do this again? We did this because we don't want to fetch, or we want to just like populate the cache immediately. So now if I go to any individual, it didn't work. So it still says it's fetching them, which is curious, because I would think that it's like setting each of these contacts. What did I do wrong? There's a thing in the React Query docs for remix about using the query on server and client. Then you do some dehydrating thing. I thought, bro, is what's cooked. Yeah. Magnus, I'll have to look into that. I don't know. The whole like, I'm just trying to set this up as a server side cache. But if there's like a nice server side rendering, if their docs suck, you should complain to them. By the way, like this isn't our job to explain their stuff. I don't mean that like in a rude way, but like if what you said is true, like that it is broken, that's on them. They need to go fix that. So I'd bug them. But yeah, I don't really know. What do you have? Query client, and then yeah, it looks like they're like using state, so that means they're on the client doing this, but then they're setting it. That's a really interesting way to do that. Okay. With server-side rendering, we usually want to set some default stale time. Okay, that makes sense. So they are doing server-side, and then you said they're doing dehydrated state, which is dehydrate. Dehydrate comes from React query, like you said. Yeah, they're doing some prefetch. Okay, yeah, looks like that's kind of cool. I'll play around with that. I like that. I think there's some better ways to maybe do some of what they're doing, but it seems like they have an example of how this all works. Cool. Okay, well, we'll try that eventually, but yeah, I'm just trying to roll it myself because I think they made this before, the client loader. Okay, so why is this not working? I don't know. Whoop. Setting, just go crazy here. Yeah, so it's like setting all of them. Why am I logging out? That is so insane. Here we go. Oh, I know what's going on. Rookie mistake. Client loader dot hydrate equals true. So I did this before, but basically you have to set this if you want this client loader to run during hydration. But if you want it to only run during non-hydration, which actually I would probably want to remove it here. But we'll see what happens in a second. Okay, so here I'm running it or not. I think I blew up everything. Oh my goodness, what is going on? I think I crashed this. I think that's what happened. No, it's going. Okay, weird. Okay, so there we go. Fetched everybody on the client, and then went ahead and so if you look for, who am I on? Clifford. So you can see that we're actually fetching Clifford at the beginning, which is interesting. So this client loader, I guess, technically ran first. And then we did this one, where we're setting it because we're just naively setting and not checking later, which is fine. I don't particularly care because this is the root loader, so it's really only going to run kind of one time. Well, it'll technically run every time we do a mutation, so we'll have to fix that later, but no biggie. So we're going to remove this. And then the other thing we're going to do is well, actually, let's keep that for 1 second. We're going to remove the client loader hydrate on this one because we don't actually want to run that loader on hydration because we've already done all the setting here. I think that's right. So I guess the first load would do this server loader. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think it's fine. Whatever. We'll just keep them both as hydrate true for now. But anyway, what I really want to see is now that if we go to anybody, we're not actually fetching any data. And you can see in the network, we're not actually fetching data because we are going to fetch the images. So ignore those. I'll just go to the fetch / XHR. So we're not actually fetching anyone because we went and primed the cache initially. So if I remove this line, I'm pretty sure now we'll be fetching people. Yeah, so every time we go to a new page, we'll be doing a fetch. But it's still cached. And then if we add that hydrate with all this, we've like primed the cache for everybody. So on a simple app like this, that's kind of a nice way to prime everything up. So cool. I'm going to stick with that for now. But again, one thing I don't love about this is because like this is actually fetching way too much information. If this were like a real API, this is like a good bit of data. And if you, depending on how many users you have, I don't know what a good way to see it is, but there's like a lot of initial data in here. Can I see the response? Would it be in here? Trying to remember how we like send down all the initial data. Yeah, here's the root with all like the contacts. So this thing is just gonna be literally every like person's contact is being sent down with initial thing, which I don't know. Debatable if it's that bad. Okay, so that's one step. And then there's the step where a lot of people are going to ask, like, okay, how would you do mutations? How would you make sure that the client cache is updated? So let's do that next. So the first one I'm going to do is I think deleting is going to be the easiest. Maybe. Yeah, so let's try that. So if I delete Paul, sorry Paul. And I hit OK twice for some reason. So technically it like everything actually worked because that loader went ahead, this client loader probably went ahead and like reran everything. So resetting the query data. So let's make sure I'm right about that assumption. So I'm gonna go to Giovanni and I'll delete Giovanni, and then it says resetting the query data. So by default, yeah, every time you do a mutation, all of the loaders on the page, including the root one, get reloaded. Debatable whether or not you want to do that, because again, like this is a lot of data, so you probably don't want to do it. So one thing we could do here is we could just say, yeah, let's like make this never run again, essentially. What is it? I think I can do this in a remixy way pretty easily. Use revalidator. That's not really what it's called. Revalidate. Gosh, I don't even know our own APIs, do I? Should revalidate. That's what it is. So I think you can export just from anything. Should revalidate. Can you just set it? No, there's no way you can just set it. I don't think. I think it actually has to be like a function. So we'll just say that the root never revalidates. And then, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Okay, so Alex, sorry you're going. But then I delete Alex, but he's still here. Oh no, because we are no longer revalidating. We've opted out of that. Should we... Yeah, this is fine. I'll do this for now. Okay, so now we're not revalidating at the root. We're never going to revalidate at the root. We are going to let React Query kind of handle it because it's our client cache. So let's find the delete action. Destroy. That's a way better name. So this is when we actually delete someone, right? We go here and we remove them. Yeah, we could do something pretty interesting here, but for now I'm going to do it the really naive way. So we'll do client, what is it called? Is it not client query, query client? Oh my goodness. Okay. And then we're going to, we got so many things. We got set, right? Set is like the thing I think I want to do. Reset, set. There's not like set is the way that you would delete it, I assume, right? Set queries data. Ooh, what does that do? Oh, you can set like a whole thing. Okay, cool. I think I just want to set query data. It's gonna be this thing again. I assume I should be exporting this and just using it multiple places, right? Does that seem right? I don't know. Sure, let's try that. Let's put it in the query thing. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know how to use React Query if it's not obvious yet. Okay. I gotta do it in the client action. Good point. Thanks for the correction. I will do it in the client component, client query. Fun fact though, this will actually, yeah, let's see like if I made this mistake, what happens though, because this is a good validation of what I think is supposed to happen. What was that called? Contact detail, geez. Contact detail query, and then I need to give it params.contact ID. So we should just, I'll just pull this out so we don't have to keep calling it. Premature optimization is the root of all evil. That's exactly what I'm doing. Prematurely optimizing things by calling params.contact ID one time. Okay. Doesn't like that because, so can I just pass undefined? Is that like the best way to delete it, or is it not like that? Does it need to be null? I'm totally doing something wrong. Set query data. Yeah. What? What? Oh gosh. See, you gotta like make it first, and then I'm assuming this just like concatenates those things together. Whatever. So yeah, is it undefined or null? It no longer exists, so it should be undefined. Yeah, I don't know. We'll try that. Um, Okay, so if I tried to do this, Alex Anderson is gone. I cannot look at him. What is going on? Did I just blow up everything? All right, here we go. All right, Pedro, you're out of here. I'm sorry. So if I do it now, what's going to happen is everything's going to explode because it's going to say context detail query is not a function. And the reason is because I'm using query.client for this. Query client invalidate queries. Thank you, Magnus. See, you know React queries. That's really great. Anyway, so what I was trying to say is because I did query.client, this is like a little remixism to where this says this should only be able to run on the client. I did add a, oh no, I didn't add anything to it. So basically, yeah, if you try to ever use something from the client, it will like be undefined and explode. And then you can use Vite inv only. I was trying to play around with this, but Pikatori, if you're still around, I was struggling for some reason. I probably was doing something dumb, but I was trying to set servers, specifiers, TanStack Query. Yeah, that's what I did. So I did like server specifiers, TanStack Query slash router. So deny imports, that is. And two things. One, it only worked in build or it only showed up in build. Is that like expected? So that's my first question. And then like, so if I ran dev, it was fine. And then two, and this is probably kind of goes to a private conversation we were having a little bit. I could not get it to like ever accept it. I could never get it to work because even using it in the client loader, it still would blow up because it was still like being imported for the server side stuff. I don't know if any of that made sense. But basically, yeah, it made me a little bit more convinced about some of the stuff you were saying the other day. So you win, I suppose. If you're even online. I don't know if you left or not. Okay, cool. So what was Magnus telling me to do? Magnus was saying to do query client dot invalidate queries. And he said to do, that looks different than that, doesn't it? It's query key. So invalidate, what does invalidate do? Does it just, why are there no docs on the types? What? Okay, whatever. That's fine. It's okay. I know it's hard to have a big popular library. So yeah, what does invalidate queries do? Oh, I did not mean to start this. Invalidate queries, query matching with invalidate. I just want to see what like query invalidate. That is what I'm on. Waiting for your queries to become stale before they're fetched again doesn't always work, especially when you know for a fact that a query's okay. So this will force it to be fetched again. Got it. No, that makes sense. I think that at that point I would have to have it set up to where it actually like calls the fetcher, I believe. So I'm not confident this is gonna work, but let's try it really quick. And what I'm gonna do to validate what I think is gonna happen is I'm gonna call a query function here, and we'll say be like trying to fetch the ID. I think it's just gonna call this thing if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. All right. So Pedro did not get destroyed, I don't think. Oh no, he did get destroyed. All right. Yeah, because the function still happened. Also, this is completely busted, isn't it? And this is still, of course, in the action, so I need to fix that. Const client action equals. There we go. You got it right that time. Good job. Sure, that seems right. Oh man, we gotta call. Oh, this is so interesting though. Hold on. I actually don't know if this will work the way I want it to. Because what happens with client action? How does client action even work? Client fetch for each query invalidated. Yeah, I figured as much. I need to actually understand how client action works really quickly. Where, man, I need to fix our search. It's not very good. Okay, yeah. So you pull up the server action. Okay, cool. So it's the exact same thing. So this is wrong. Put it on this way. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We are totally just going to, yeah, this will be cool. All right, I think we're just gonna call it. We don't need anything else. And then once it's done, yeah, I'm gonna remove No, this is all good. Yeah, once it's done, we'll do all this stuff and then we'll redirect. I did want to keep that. We'll remove this one, remove this one, remove this. Yeah, okay, cool. So this is what the action does. Then the client action is in charge of actually calling it and then invalidate the cache. Uh, oh, sure, yeah. Magnus, I'm sure that the actual maintainers would be interested in this, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it might be worth doing a stream. I'm just goofing around. I'm just trying to understand it myself though, because if it's requires me to get on with the maintainer, I worry it's not going to be simple enough for anyone else. But that might be a bad assumption. No route matches for context. What is going on? Oh, that's fair. It's because we just need that to redirect. Okay. Okay, cool. So now if I delete Alex, I have to click it so many times. What happens? It completely refreshed everything. That was weird. Yeah, this isn't working at all. Am I even getting the trying to fetch? It's just like completely rerunning, which is no good. Let me actually look up the implementation of this. Nope, that's not it. That's also not it. It's this one. Okay, so on submit. Hmm. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I will say though, Magnus, as far as like, yeah, I think having a client cache is really helpful with super data heavy applications. I think that is true. I'll need to validate something. I was gonna say I don't know what Shopify is using for it, but Shopify admin is built like on React Query and uses like the loader in action, like functions from sorry, yeah, from not React Query, React Router. Um, and I don't think they use React Query. I don't know. I think that React Router and Remix like loader action paradigm is more sophisticated than most people maybe realize. I don't think you need the heaviness of React Query personally, but if people want it, they can have it. I really think using like, I don't know, I would definitely start with something just like this little Remix client cache with like a little I don't know, like local storage kind of implementation. I think is like probably going to be a little bit simpler, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm just learning out here. Do 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 do. Where was I? Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, I'm trying to actually test what's going on. Why can't I delete Alex? It's because yeah, whenever I hit this, it does a full refresh, which is super weird. Let me get rid of all this. Oh, you know what? I think it's because the redirect is happening here. Maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna try this. Try redirecting from the client, which is not really what I want to do. It's not working. What am I doing wrong? Is it just the fact that I have a client? Oh, I'm not actually. Oh man, hold on. Let me remove this for a second. Let me just get back to a state where this is actually working with a client action. Maybe Alex is undeletable. Okay, yeah. So that works. Okay, I think that's all that's happening. I just don't know why it's like full page refreshing. Okay, that one worked, but he still exists. Okay, I think it was this redirect was throwing things off. So can you not redirect from the client? I guess that doesn't really make sense, does it? Yeah, it's a node thing. No, that makes a ton of sense. Okay, cool. So this is what I want to do. I want to do all this before, which is dangerous. And then yeah, let's see what that looks like. But again, I don't think the invalidate is going to work. You need to import redirect. What? There is a redirect from. Why are we importing it from here? Thanks. I thought there was a redirect from here. Is that safe? Is that good? Does it matter? Okay. I don't know. I'll try that. All right, whatever. We'll figure out the implications of our decisions later on. Cool, and that broke. You found an action for route, but didn't return anything from your action. Fair. Okay, now we're here. Delete Kent this time. Okay, that all worked. We're resetting the query data and calling the server action. We never actually got this trying to fetch ID thing. You made a GET request. Oh, that was from before. So yeah, this never actually even ran, even with the invalidation logic, which is kind of surprising. Oh, wait, but here I actually set the data. Jeez. Let me try it one more time. All right, Clifford. But he's still here in the cache. So yeah, I feel like invalidate is not actually doing anything. Because I would have thought invalidate queries would recall this, but it didn't. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna try my set and see if that works. Yeah, I know he's gone now. Delete Ryan. Oh, but Ryan's still there. So can I really not just like set the query? Or is the query key like wrong? Oops. I will reset. Hmm. No, you're good. No. You were right to think about it as the invalidate queries. That is correct, I think. If you are buying fully into like React Query and giving them full control of stuff. But I am a little bit more kind of controlling things. Yeah, okay, so Ryan's gone now. That was weird. I think it just got busted. So I want to try that invalidate again. So we're gonna say like invalidating this person. All right, so also, yeah, okay, so we should revalidates off again. That's good. So if I delete Giovanni and then it says invalidating Giovanni, but he's still here. Yep, okay, cool. But again, why is it not calling this trying to fetch? That's the thing I'm missing still. I think it's because I have no idea actually. I don't know why this isn't getting called. I assumed invalidate would recall the fetch, but it doesn't. So that's just a bad assumption on my part. No worries. So yeah, we're gonna remove that and then make sure everything is still working the way I expect it. So we're just controlling the cache. Oh my gosh, they broke again. One more time. Nope, and then Pedro's still there. No, Christopher's still there, even though I deleted him. Calling the server action. Invalidating contacts details, Paul. Oh, you know what? Yeah. No, this actually. Hold on. Jeez. Now my brain is breaking. So I'm setting the query. I feel like someone already probably figured this out. You should definitely always pair React Query with its dev tools. It shows all the query states. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, I probably should pull the dev tools. Okay, so what's happening? Query client, setting that query, and then, but I don't have any way to actually say like, hey, this is new. So this is maybe where I should be like using useQuery. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should use useQuery. Yeah. Because useQuery will like set up automatically like a how does useQuery work? I don't actually know how it works. So useQuery, what if I just list, is there a way to just like, no, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. So what does useQuery do? useQuery is, what the hell is all this stuff? This is amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. So you pass it a query key and you can pass it the query client. What? Why is there so much stuff? Okay, I don't know. We'll try this. Use query. And then we want to use query client here, I think. And then here we want to do, gosh, no, this is going to be wrong. Shoot. Yeah, just contacts. Let's try this. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing subscribed. Yeah, sorry, Vitor, I didn't finish my thought here, but that's exactly what the problem is. Nothing has been described yet. So query key should just be contacts, I guess. I don't know. This will be interesting. I don't know if this will work or not. But if this works, then maybe this is the way to go for it. Contacts, maybe. All right, let's try it. So that blew up. No query client set. Use query client provider to set one. I thought I could just pass this in. Is that incorrect? Like they're making it look like I can just pass a query client in as an option. I know you said you think people underestimate all the stuff Remix does. I would agree and also say I think the Remix team underestimates React Query. Yeah. No, that's totally fair. Sorry, I'm not meaning to disparage React Query. I used React Query a lot before I started using Remix. I think multiple of us did. So I definitely have experience with it. A lot of I personally don't love the paradigm of like things like React Query. I do think it's the best version of it actually that I've seen. But the paradigm of like setting up all these listeners and stuff in your components, I've actually seen really backfire um, and make things really complicated. So it's personal bias, and it's why I like just like data from the top, and it's like associated with your route. And when you like commit an action, then it revalidates that. So I definitely I hope I'm not coming from like yeah, I hope I'm not coming off too negative. I do think there's a lot of value in it, but I also stopped using it a while ago because I found that Remix was actually kind of solving the problems I was having that React Query was initially solving. So let it use from the context. All right, so don't pass it is what's being said. So I just need to refactor a little bit here, which is fine. So what I don't like about this is I'm pretty sure this is gonna blow up on. This is gonna blow up on server-side rendering. So then we get back to the same problem. It's so annoying. Uh, okay, that's fine. Whatever. Gosh. All right, whatever. So we're gonna do the provider. So what is the provider that we need? What was it complaining about? I need a something provider. Query client, query client provider. Let's just wrap it around this whole thing. Yeah, totally fair, Magnus. I get what you're saying. Yeah, and again, I'm in the middle of it. I'm sure I'm gonna get to the end of this and actually end up remembering what I loved about React Query. I'm just in the middle of trying to figure out stuff, and and the best practices for the way I want it to be. So totally in a very biased place right now. Query, client, provider. Why is this? Oh, it's just because I haven't closed it yet. Yeah, we'll just wrap this whole thing. Everything should be wrapped in query, client, provider. That's not how you write JSX. Oh man, I gotta get going soon. Okay, hopefully we can just get this little piece working and then I can be done for now. Mostly just want to validate that this actually works. And then unfortunately I need to extract this stuff out. So let's pull out, yeah, this whole, yeah, the sidebar. The sidebar can be pulled out, I think. So we'll say function, just call it sidebar. Or whatever, contacts, nav, be a little more descriptive. Okay, so the things that this will need is this is going to need that submit. Whoops. Submit. It's going to need searching, which comes from here, which is used in a couple places. So searching is, I think, Boolean or undefined, whatever. So we'll do props. We'll do, oh wait, no, you were right. Yep, that's it. That's exactly what I want, I think, ish. Okay, so we'll pull out the contacts, we'll pull out searching. I don't know if I need Q. Yeah, I do need Q. Q. Okay, so we pulled them all out. You've got to come from somewhere. Now we've got this, which should go up here. Contacts. Actually, the contacts is the thing that I'm not going to pass down. So I was wrong about that. But we'll pass down Q and pass down searching for now. This will probably need to be cleaned up a little bit. Whatever. We'll clean all that. And then, yeah, no contacts because contacts is the thing I'm trying to pull out. Let's see if this works. No idea. This is, yeah. What are people saying? Are you already telling me it's not going to work? No, y'all are still talking about if you use React Query or whatever. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's try it. No query client set. I did set one. I don't know what you want from me. I don't know, maybe I messed something up. Yeah, actually I have to run the dev server. Components use React Query, use query. What am I doing wrong? I'm trying to use the query client provider and it doesn't like it. Did I set it up wrong? Probably, but I don't think I actually did in a more real sense of the word. Okay, let's do this. Return null for now. And then let's say, let's just console log it and see if that part can work. Because if I can't even get this to render, yeah, internal servers. Okay, wait, this actually makes sense. Yeah, this does make sense. This is like the server-side render pass is not going to work. God, this is not what I wanted, but that makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna do, this will be really naive. We're gonna do function, my own query client provider. Client, oops. Come on, Copilot. No, that's so not correct. Just wrong all around. Query client, and then const, or no, wait, what is it? Hydrated, set hydrated. Do you actually know what you're doing here? Nope, all completely wrong too. Remix utils is hydrated, I think is what it's called. Cool. Let's just make that function use hydrated. Man, I swear Copilot has gotten worse over time. I think my expectations have gotten higher. What am I looking for? Use hydrated. I'm just gonna copy and paste this thing. Okay, so now we can say is hydrated, is hydrated, cannot spell today, equals use hydrated. And now we can say that if it's hydrated, then return that with children. Man, this feels wrong already. Okay, so now we've got this insane little guy that just sets up my thing for me. If we're hydrated, then we'll have this. This is gonna be super annoying though, because yeah, the server experience is gonna be different. No query client set. Use query client provider to set one. No, that makes sense. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. This is gonna get us in a completely spa mode world. So now we lose all the value of server-side rendering, which is not what I want to do. So I think Magnus, you were right. All along, I should be using the server-side rendering guide. I'll be figuring out how this works. How easy is this, I wonder? They set the query client here. That's just to make it always the same thing. I would maybe do that differently, but that's fine. They pull it out here. And then they do that hydrate thing, like you were saying down here. I wonder if, okay, I'm gonna try one thing and just see if this unblocks me for a second. I'm gonna just get rid of that the query. Sorry, the client thing. Oops. So it'll be making a client like on the server, and it'll just be wrong. So I don't actually need this thing that I made. This abomination is no longer necessary. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen here. So there'll be like a client. Yeah, see, it's all just busted. No, that was my fault. And now it fetched it like 16 times for some reason. Cool. All right, so this exists, but it might not. Okay, we'll say like if, oh man, what is it? Data. Is that what you have to pull off of here? Okay, so the data is undefined initially. Will it ever be defined? Probably not. Hmm. Wait for the provider. Can you just put it in the app part, not layout? Let me see what you're talking about. It is an app. Yeah, I don't have a layout in this. And it has to wrap this whole thing because I have the contacts nav that needs the data because we have that at like the very top. Hydrate remix library is apparently out of date and not maintained. Okay, good to know. Yeah. Okay, cool. I don't know. This is giving me, sorry, I have been following all your comments and now I'm trying to look at them again. This is giving me some ideas. I'm bummed the data seems to be missing. One thing I wanted to check was it might even like, so I can pull out the query client here. So I want to see what does this thing even look like. Oh gosh, this thing is like busted. I just have no idea if this thing is correct or not anymore. Go to advanced server-side rendering, initial setup. Gosh. Nope. Almost went to caching. Yeah. Okay. So they've got a little factory function. Get the query. So if it is a server, then you're going to make it. So server always make a new query client. That makes sense. Else, if it is this, then always return if one doesn't exist. So yeah, I would do this differently, but that makes sense. And then in the provider, yeah, they're doing this. That's kind of what I'm doing. We can try it. Let's try it. And then I really do actually have to go. Gotta go order food for a meetup. Okay. So inside a query, I'm gonna do this slightly differently. But we'll do make query client. Queries stale time is 60 seconds. We want to set some default stale time above 0 to avoid refetching immediately on the client. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so then you've got get the query client function, which is just like you always call it. Whatever, that's fine. I don't really want to do it this way. And then you're pulling out is server. Yeah, there's too much stuff going on here. That's fine. All right, so is server, get query client. See, what I would prefer to do is call this thing here and not actually use this thing, but now we have it doubly cached. All right, so this will do that piece. So now we have a server one set up, but yeah, I'm not even using the server for anything. Yeah, I need to mess with this more because they got like, yeah, all this dehydrate stuff. So yeah, I'll come back to this, but that's not quite it. So yeah, man, we're so close. So let me write a note for myself to figure out where I'm at to figure this out next time. So basically, so what I wanted is I basically want the use query to subscribe to contacts data, which it's not. Oops. I think that's like what my idea is. Yeah, it just like doesn't seem to know anything about anything. I'd really like to just be able to give it a query client here. So we'll just use that thing. Yeah, no, Magnus, I don't think we need a React query maintainer. I think we can just keep. Oh yeah, to write the docs. Yeah, I would prefer them to write the docs. So I will say, like, I was looking at what is it, React router? Geez, React query. There's like an old doc. Yeah, that Dominic wrote. This is pretty good. It's just the only problem is, and I think you probably alluded to this already, this doesn't show the mutation side of things, which is what I'm actually trying to get after. This is just the fetching side of things. So it's not, oh, he's got the invalidate. But yeah, but the problem is, and what I don't love about this is it's running, yeah, it's got this query function that's running like the get contact. So this is great for a spa. But I'm still trying to give us like the server side rendered kind of experience. Yeah, I mean it'd be ideal, but if there's just a working example with like a couple little things like this, then I think that'll make people happy. But yeah, this is just getting too in the weeds. What's funny though to me is I can just, yeah, if you get rid of this all works again. But then again, you're fetching everything over again. Okay, I'll keep messing with it. But yeah, fun stream. Thanks for hanging out. Um, Letting me work through all that. So yeah, the fetching data is easy, and the putting it into the cache is easy. It's setting up like subscribers that don't work the remixy way. That's annoying. The only other thing I could think about is, which I really don't want to do exactly, is like remove this should revalidate here, and then on each of these. So then this would run again. But the problem is right now, yeah, the server loader just like loads everything. So you'd have to change this. I don't want to do that. And it would have to know like what it's supposed to be invalidating. And I don't know if you have like that level of granularity with query client. It seems like it's not it. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm fighting React Query too much, but just feels weird to me to tell React Query to do all your fetching. Like if you're gonna do that, if you want server-side rendering, yeah, you have to do some setup. If you just want like a spa client-side render, then just use React Query like 100% and use remix in spa mode basically. Or not even in spa mode, but just like the fetching and data. But I just don't think that's the best. So I think there's a middle ground here where we can use it as our client cache. But then again, I'm gonna plug remix client cache. I think this is a slightly easier way to use a client cache. My only problem with this is, yeah, I don't know. It just hasn't been used quite as much. I'd like to see more people use it. And then I don't know what it looks like to create like a little client database, like, or sorry, cache adapter thing. This is like you get this like get item, set item, remove item. I don't know. Maybe it's pretty easy. So maybe something for people to mess with. What's the point, Alexander asks, of having a query client on the server? No point. Well, actually, sorry. The point is, I'm pretty sure if I understand what React Query is doing correctly, the point would be because you can fetch all your data in like the server side render pass, and then you've got this cache that's like set up, and then you basically can pass that down to the client, and so then the client can like rehydrate or whatever, or dehydrate. I don't know. It can use that cache already instead of having to, you're not having to fetch on the client. Basically, all the stuff I'm doing like in the client loader, I think it's basically, it would be handling all this sort of stuff for you essentially. But I agree, it's kind of goofy to use it. It feels goofy right now to use it in both places, so I'm gonna play with that more. Okay, so I gotta go run to a meetup, and then I don't know. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get back to this because I got some more stuff to do, and tomorrow's a holiday in the United States of America. Yeah, yeah. So the fetching ties itself into the remix life cycles. That makes sense. Um, Also, Magnus, you said, no, wait, Alexander said, oh my gosh, I can't read. Why do you think using a fetcher inside a query function is bad? Yeah, I don't know how you would set that up exactly. Um, so the whole thing with the query function, I think it was in here, right? So this query function, if I understand it right, you can only set this up. Actually, where is this used? I don't know if I understand. Yeah, you pass it into like query client dot fetcher. If there's a way to pass it into the hooks, maybe that makes sense, and that's probably what I'm missing. So maybe that would work. Maybe using it with like use fetcher would work, but you can't use it inside a client loader is the problem because it's a hook to set up the fetcher. So that's my problem right now. But you could try using it with the use query, It's going to be a little bit more, it's going to be also boilerplatey, but everything we've done is boilerplatey. So that's where we're at right now. And yeah, Alexander, I should probably get the dev tools, but I don't know. I'm lazy. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. I don't know, to be continued at some point.